Hey everybody, Nathan here from Pasta Pantry. Today I'm going to show you how to make a classic Italian dish, carbonara pasta. Now this dish is famous across Italy and the world, and I've seen it made many different ways, but I'm going to show you how it was traditionally made and how it's supposed to be served. So come on, follow me on this adventure and let's eat. First, we're going to start with some beautiful bucatini pasta. Now, typically, people use spaghettoni. I like to use bucatini because similar to a thick spaghetti, bucatini has this hole down the center and it catches the sauce. And just for me, the texture and taste is fantastic. Then we're going to go into some Pecorino Romano, some fresh cracked pepper, some farm fresh eggs, and some guanciale. If you're not familiar with what guanciale is, it's the jowl of the pig. Now, this is some of like the best bacon you can get, in my opinion. It's available at European markets, national food stores. You can find it pretty much everywhere. If you can't find guanciale, pancetta works just as well. And then if you had to use bacon, oh, so be it. Who doesn't love bacon? Okay, I'm going to get this pot of water fired up, and I'm going to show you how to start trimming and preparing your guanciale. Get that pot going on high for a heavy boil. So just a quick run through of the ingredients one more time. I have the bucatini pasta. I'm making this dish for 2 people. Typically for fresh pasta, I say 150 grams per person. So I have 300 grams of fresh bucatini here. If you're using dry pasta, I would scale that down to about 90 grams per portion. I have 200 grams of Pecorino Romano and 3 eggs. Now I'm going to use the yolk of 2 eggs. There's 1 yolk per person and then always an extra egg. So if you had 4 people, I would use 4 eggs, 4 yolks, and 1 extra whole egg. Now, way back in the day, the original dish, they probably used the entire egg just because nobody ever wasted food. I like the creaminess of using just yolks. For your guanciale, you're going to want to trim off some of this thicker skin on the top because it can be rubbery and you don't want it to be too chewy when you cook it. Now we're going to cook it on low heat because we want to render the fat out of it. And that fat is going to be some of the star of the show. And you'll see that in a little bit. So as you can see, even though we trimmed off this thick layer of fat slash skin, we still got a nice fat cap there through. I'm going to cut about 1 centimeter pieces. And I like to have 3 or 4. Let's go for 4. Then I'm going to slice it one more time to make larger cubes. And we're going to get this into a cold frying pan. You don't want your pan to be too hot because, again, you don't want this to crisp up too fat. You want to render all the fat out, make it nice and sauce, and that fat is going to become one of your ingredients in your dish. That's there like that. That goes into my frying pan. Frying pan to medium heat. I'm going to give this a quick little separate in the pan so all the pieces of guanciale have their own space to start melting down. Next, I'm going to take my eggs and I'm going to crack them into a larger mixing bowl. Now, if you're like me and you have a hell of a time separating egg yolk, there's these great tools out there. It'll catch all the yolk and let the white run through. Now to crack an egg, I always use 2 eggs because one's always going to break. This is the one I'm going to use the full egg and put it into my mixing bowl. Now I'm going to capture the yolk of these ones into my little toy here. Give it a shake. Give it a second shake, and there you go. Sometimes I just use my fingers as well to strain the egg through. But today, for a video's sake, I want to keep it a little cleaner. There we go. Come on. Get off. Get off. There you go. Alrighty. So into my bowl, I have 2 yolks, 1 full egg, and I'm going to whisk these. Scramble them up real nice. Scrambled eggs. We've all done that before. Then I'm going to take my 200 grams of Pecorino Romano. I'm going to add about half of it to start. And I'm going to mix this up. This is going to make a paste. And we're going to thin this out in a bit. I'm going to show you a couple tips and tricks to do that. But this is going to make that beautiful cream sauce for your carbonara. And here's the trick, guys. There is no cream in carbonara. We're going to fake it. The rest of that cheese goes in. Mix, mix, mix. You can hear that guanciale starting to sizzle and render a bit. That's literally going to make a paste. Wonderful. All right, we're halfway there. This is really simple to make, but it's also really simple to mess up. You want to cook with lower heat, and going slow is the way to go. Now, my fresh pasta is going to cook in 5 minutes, let's say, and my guanciale is going to take about 7. So I get my guanciale started. It's starting to render down. You can hear it in the pan. Let's give that some time. My water sounds like it's about to boil. So I'm going to give my fingers a quick rinse here. Oh yeah, that's smelling good, that guanciale. Again, the guanciale, it comes from the pig's cheek. So there's a stripe of meat through there, but the fat is so flavorful. Oh, just wait. I wish you could smell this. Let's check this pot here. Oh yeah, we got a rolling boil. So I would like to use just a touch of salt in my pasta water for this dish. Typically, I would put a generous amount of salt. However, the Pecorino Romano and the guanciale tend to be a little bit on the salty side, so they're bringing a lot of flavor into the dish. So I'm just going to use a pinch of salt. Take my bucatini pasta and all into the pot. And folks, when you're cooking pasta, please make sure that you're using a large enough pot. I see people with a small pot, filling it with water, then jamming it packed with the pasta, and the pasta's in there, it's got nowhere to go. Pasta's cool. Pasta likes room. It needs its own space. So let's make sure there's enough room in that pot for that pasta to swim around. It's going to get going there. Oh, yeah. This is starting to render. It's smoking a bit, so I'm going to turn my heat down just even a little more. Now, I've seen many variations of this dish. People like to put peas. People like to put shrimp. Carbonara is meant to be simple. Eggs, cheese, pepper, guanciale, done. And what's amazing is you go to some restaurants, even in Edmonton here, and a classic carbonara dish will be over $30. And I have $7 worth of ingredients here. So you can make this at home, quick and simple. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's the truth. Okay, that's rendering out. So one of the tricks here with the eggs is you need to temper them, because if you just pour them into your frying pan with your pasta at the end, you're going to make scrambled eggs, and we don't want special chow mein here. we want to make carbonara. So what I'm going to do is, I got this beautiful pasta water here. It's really starchy and thick. It's going to help thicken your sauce. So I'm going to grab a 2-ounce ladle of some of this boiling water, nice and starchy water. I'm just going to let it cool just a little bit. Just cool a little bit. Cool it down. And then I'm going to add that to my egg mixture. And this tempers your eggs. You can see already, it just starts to make it nice and creamy. Nice and creamy. That's basically what you want to see right there. That is good to go. So carbonara, that's your pepper here. So I freshly cracked this pepper. Now, if you want to go over and above, when you crack pepper, if you run it through a mesh colander, it'll separate the skin of the peppercorn to the inside of the peppercorn, which has a lot of the flavor, a lot of the kick to it. But we're not getting that fancy today or technical. So I just cracked it right into the bowl here and it's ready to go. Remember, you can always add more pepper. You can never take it out. So just add a little bit of a time to get that flavor profile that you like. But you do want to see pepper in the dish. This guanciale is almost there. Now, depending on how fatty your guanciale is, you might want to take the guanciale out of the frying pan and remove some of the fat. In my case today, I don't have to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move a couple pieces of the guanciale to the side so I can use it as a garnish at the end. Almost like why you see I have this extra Pecorino Romano here that I didn't add to my mixture is I'm going to use this to garnish on the side. So a little run through again, 100 grams of Pecorino Romano per person, 1 yolk per person, and then 1 egg for the complete dish, and a few slices of the guanciale. For fresh pasta, 150 grams per person, 90 grams per person for dry pasta. That's a good size portion. Now, if you want to make enough so you could have 2 servings, just keep doubling the recipe for us big eaters out there. Now, when this pasta is done, it's going to go straight from the pot right into the frying pan. So I'm going to take some of the pasta. I'm not going to strain it so it's dried coming out there. That pasta water is going to help my dish. But as you can hear, this is sizzling pretty good here. And we don't want to scramble our eggs. I can't say that enough. So when we put this egg wash or egg mixture into the pan, I don't want to hear any sizzling in the pan when that happens. Also, a pro tip is if you're using a gas stove or cooking with any sort of fire, when you add the water to your frying pan, because there's fat in the frying pan, you're going to want to turn your fire off because that fat's going to splatter and it sparks and it is flammable. So it just helps you for not making such a mess. All right, that pasta should be done. Let's see. How do we make sure it's ready? We throw it against the wall so it sticks? No! You eat some. Bucatini, guys. Get after it. You can find this again in a lot of the supermarkets, specialty European markets, Italian markets, or at my restaurant, Pasta Pantry. We make it from scratch. 100% Durham semolina flour. Okay, so I turn the heat off on my pan at this point because I'm about to scoop all this pasta into the pan. Oh yeah, give that a stir. And I'm going to keep this big pot of water next to me here. Turn the heat off on it. Give this a toss. Give this a toss. See, if you can hear it sizzling and my heat is off on this, it's not ready for the egg to go in. So I'm waiting for this pan to cool it down just a little bit more. Once I don't hear a sizzle, I know it's time to go. It's still sizzling. Add just a little bit of pepper right into that. Going to take about another 2 ounces of water, and I'm going to add it right to the pan there. That gives me a little bit of base on the bottom. So if the pan is hot, it gives you a little bit of a variance to get your egg in. Because again, you do not want scrambled eggs. That fork's done. Okay, so I don't hear any sizzling. I'm going to put my sauce right into the pasta. And this is where you shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. And if you see it starting to stick to the bottom of the pan, you're right. A little more water. Oh, yeah, that just instantly turns to a nice cream. Oh, nice and creamy. Look at that. Oh, the aromas. You wouldn't believe it right now. Some more pepper in there. Yeah, let's put some carbon in the carbonara. Again, I don't know where you guys are watching this from right now, but it's minus 25 outside. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but just 2 days ago, it was minus 40 Fahrenheit. So do the math on that. It's cold. All right. We are done. Now time to plate. Yeah, the joys of working from home, if you can hear the dogs barking. But this dish, I just want to show, can be made at home very easily. Let's make sure we get some guanciale on there. Now, you can get fancy tongs and tweezers to roll it and peel it and make it look really fancy on your plate, which you probably should. Couple more pieces of guanciale on top. Some more Pecorino Romano. And what I like to do is hit it with pepper one more time. We'll get out the big one. I like pepper grinders this big because not only is it a really cool pepper grinder, if anybody comes into my kitchen, I can take care of them. You know what I mean? Now, the moment we've been waiting for. Beautiful. Bucatini carbonara. Look how creamy. Look how tight that sauce is. The pasta water helped everything emulsify. Let's see how we did. Oh, wow. Pasta's a perfect al dente. That guanciale, nice crisp on the outside, soft in the middle. It doesn't get better than this on a cold winter's day. So there you have it, folks. Pasta carbonara. Let's eat.